What does that have to do with babies in the womb? Seriously. Well, if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, correct? So from the biblical standpoint, the very first life was Adam and Eve. Adam was made from the dust of the ground. God blew life into his nostrils. And then God made Eve from the rib of Adam. They weren't conceived. They had a heart and they had a mind. A heart and a mind. So does the 13-year-old that gets molested and is forced, because the far right Christians say never abortion, force the child, even if it's against medical advice, to have the child? Because that's what Allie Beth Stuckey is about, is that regardless if it was a violent rape, incest, it's a life. But never looking at what a life is. Because God was very much about the mind, have the mind of Christ. So an embryo or 6 weeks of a baby, you say you can hear a heartbeat, but there's not a mind there, not one that can know God. But yet you say that that's the way God wanted it. So God wanted a woman raped. Yet the very first my point is, the very first people that were created were not conceived. So doesn't it make more sense that God saw that life was when the mind and heart were one? So a fetus, an offspring of a human or other mammal in the stages of prenatal development that follow the embryo stage, in humans taken as the beginning 8 weeks after conception. It's not even considered a human until 8 weeks after conception. And then you guys say that it's a child, you're murdering a child. What is a child? A person between birth and puberty. An unborn infant or fetus. Okay, and I just showed you what fetus said. Fetus, an offspring of a human or other mammal in the stages of prenatal development that follow the embryo stage, in humans taken as beginning 8 weeks after conception. For who has understood the mind of the Lord so as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. Do you know how many verses where Christ is talking about the mind? Because you can say, okay, there's a heartbeat there. You need to have a mind. The mind and the heartbeat is what makes the life. You guys say it's just the heartbeat. Yet, the very first people ever created, Adam and Eve, were not created through conception. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. Fetus can't do that. Not a 6-week fetus. So life is that there's a mind there and a heart. That just makes sense. I mean, that's why Jesus was so much about using sound reason and judgment. But the far radical right says that no, even if a child is molested, even if somebody is raped, violently raped, no matter what, that seed put there is because God wanted it. But there's a book of life, correct? Not everybody is in the book of life. But you guys don't ever consider that maybe that life is not where you think it begins, because the very first person, Adam and Eve, were not conceived. So doesn't that just send you a message that it was about the mind and the heart? Because what is a human? A member of the primate genus Homo, especially a member of the species Homo sapiens, distinguished from other apes by a large brain and the capacity for speech. You guys say it's a human being. It doesn't have a capacity for speech. It doesn't have a brain yet at 6 weeks. So I'm just saying, these are the things God didn't just want us, no, this is the way it is. No, I mean, wanted us to use sound reason and judgment, and to think that God would want somebody raped, I mean, is horrible. So there should be exceptions. I mean, the reason that the Bible doesn't lay out every single thing for you to know what to do is because you're supposed to pray on these things. You're supposed to weigh them and consider them. Not just be mindless and just say, nope, this is what I believe, okay? Because make sure you understand what a human being is, what a child, when life truly begins, before you start saying never abortion, never exceptions, never, Allie Beth Stuckey, in many ways, it doesn't even want to consider, or Candace Owens, consider medical decisions, that it's medically not in the best interest. So that's the reason this issue, and again, I'm going to say this because it's hypocrites. I'm not talking about you, but those people are hypocrites, okay? None of them want to call out. They don't care about the lives of the people that were abused by the Catholic Church for 75 years. That's in the millions. So that's why I don't think God makes this much easier for this land, because while they want to be hypocrites and say we stand for life, don't call yourself pro-lifers. Please don't. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to them. Don't sit there and call yourselves about pro-life when, first of all, you don't even want to acknowledge when life actually begins. But not until after 8 weeks. But then more than that, you don't want to even consider all of those lives that you've ignored all these years. These people have major platforms, could do so much good for those people that have been abused by the Catholic Church. What they are is fake empathy. That's what I can't stand. I can't stand what hypocrites they are. Because the left is full of fake empathy, and so is that far, far Christian right. That's why I say God's in the middle.